Welcome back to the Introduction to the Java Programming Language, a presentation of coding boot camps. So this is our final video for session 7, and session 7 is a deeper dive into classes and objects. Here in this video, we are going to cover memory management, and we are also going to look at static class variables. We discussed earlier that memory management in Java uses two sections of memory, one called the stack and one called the heap. And you know that an object is created in memory using a new operator. We talked about new that instantiates that object. And it's loaded into the heap and with a reference of the name of the class or the object on the stack. The constructor is used to initialize the properties of that object, and when the object is no longer required, in theory, it's supposed to be removed from memory so that the memory can be used for other objects. So in theory, meaning that the stack is pointing to the memory location for that object. As long as we have the name on the stack still pointing to the object, that object will remain in memory. When we are through with the name on the stack, when we're through with the object, it's considered now to be an unwanted object in the heap, and the garbage collector is called, and the object is removed from memory. Java memory management, with its built-in garbage collection, is one of the language's finest achievements. It allows developers to create objects without worrying about deleting the objects from memory. If you remember from early programming in C++, developers had to remember to allocate memory for objects and then deallocate or delete the objects from memory. If that wasn't done, objects that are no longer used would stay using the memory, and that was called a memory leak. So Java was one of the first languages to be able to assist developers with preventing memory leaks. The finalize method is called by the garbage collector, and when garbage collection determines that there are no longer references from the stack pointing to the object in the heap, and a subclass overrides the finalize method to dispose of system resources or to perform other cleanup as well. Now, all objects can share what we call a class member. So when a number of objects are created from the same class, they each have their own distinct copies of the instance variable. So we saw that whatever are declared within the class, whether it's an int or a set of ints and strings and methods, every object gets its own copy of the variables and also the methods. But there may be a time where you want all of the objects from the same class to share a variable. So if we look here at this example, consider a bicycle class, all of the objects would have their own things like cadence, gear, and speed, which makes sense. Each bicycle object would have its own set of values for these variables, and they would be stored in their respective locations in memory. But sometimes you might want to have the variables have common objects, and this would be accomplished by a static modifier. So you would have all of the objects sharing common data. So the fields that have the static modifier in their declaration are also called static fields or class variables. You'll hear a lot. And these, again, are associated with the class rather than the individual objects. So every object or every instance of the class shares that same variable, and it is singular in its own section of memory, and all the objects are looking to that one section of memory for the value of that class variable. Any object can change the value of the class variable, but class variables can also be manipulated without instantiating a class. So if we look here, we see bicycle, the bicycle class. And every bicycle will have its own cadence, gear, and speed, and this makes sense. So every bicycle object is most likely going to have something different for cadence, the number of gears and the speed, and also its own value for the ID of the bicycle. However, though, as we're instantiating our objects, we might want to track the number of bicycles that we're creating. So we could see here they will all share number of bicycles. And we can return this. So from any of the objects, we would just reference it by class name dot number of bicycles. And if we could just go back here, we can see that it is a static int number of bicycles, and we'll return it with the class name and the static class variable name. So for homework, for our lab, we are going to take a look at our static fields or class variables. We are also going to return that information so we can see everybody sharing we can see all the objects sharing that data. We are going to have two constructors, so we're going to have an overloaded constructor. We are going to take a look at some methods to access different fields, and we are going to test for the highest identification number used so far. So this is what we've learned so far. So controlling access to members through encapsulation. We have also covered the this keyword. We've looked at overloading constructors. We've looked at composition of classes through inheritance, garbage collection, finalized method, and static class members. In your learning materials, you have information for private tutoring sessions, so please take a look at that. And thank you for watching this video. Right now, we're going to take a quick look at our assignment, just one example. Okay, let's review this assignment. So you have all of this source code, so we're not going to go into it in too much detail in this discussion. But what, in this case, in this example of the solution, we created a Java project named vehicle and a package named vehicle as well, but with a lowercase v. And we notice there are two classes here, one called vehicle and then one called driver. And driver is very simple on purpose. So you'll have the source code. You can see here what we do for driver. We just have the class with we have a private string, we have one method, and we have a constructor. So if we go now back into vehicle, we can see that vehicle extends driver. So right here we are inheriting from driver. We have our static class variable here, and we have some private variables. So here's our encapsulation. We have our two constructors, one of which takes a string and the other doesn't take anything. And we are returning here, you can see we're also using the this keyword. We are just doing our sets and gets on vehicle. And here we are actually keeping track of our maximum VIN number, and we're setting our class variable to the maximum VIN number, so all objects will share that. And we can see here we're doing some output here. And then down here in the main method where we actually instantiate the class, we have three vehicle objects, all call the constructor that we're passing a string to. Then we know we inherited from driver, so that means vehicle has all of the properties and methods of driver. So we can see here we're actually able to call getName from driver because there is no getName method here in vehicle at all. It's coming from driver. Also, since we're extending or inheriting from driver, it's considered a superclass, so that's why we are passing into the instructor using the super keyword in vehicles constructor. So the super means that we're passing back up to the driver's constructor. And if we come back down here, you can see here then we're setting the VIN number, we're setting the speed for each of the vehicles, And we down here, we're looking for the max. So they will all share this, whatever the maximum is. So let's make this one here a high number and save it. So the vehicle 2 is going to have a high number. And let's just go ahead and run this. So we'll select the vehicle class file, and then we'll do run as Java application. And we can see here, oh, okay. Even though we have, we're returning vehicle 1, get the max, vehicle 2, get the max, vehicle 3. Notice they're all getting the same value. So that's a demonstration of our class variable. And you can see here we're outputting the private variables and methods here. So you can see each vehicle 1, 2, and 3 has its own current speed and its own direction and its own vehicle identification number as well. So please take a look at the lab. Again, you have the source code, so go through the steps there and stay tuned for the next video.